Hey, what's up everybody? Bdf 44 coming at you with another video. Alright, so today is draft day. I am very happy to say that I'm gonna get a lot of things done beforehand. I didn't decide to stay in the house because I know how I am. I usually would want to be in the house so that there's no chance I miss anything, but that's not the mode I'm in. I'm walking around, I'm getting my exercise in, and of course my mock draft is already up for everybody. A lot of things have changed in the NBA since my mock draft. Made a lot of videos yesterday talking about the trades that have been going on and stuff like that. So it's been very exciting, man. I wouldn't be surprised if a big trade happens while I'm out right now. In fact, I kind of expect several trades leading up to the draft. So, it's just a lot of stuff. But at the end of the day, I just wanted to just get on here and talk about stuff other than basketball, if at all possible. Because that's all on my mind right now. But, at the end of the day, I've had a pretty good couple of days. This week has been pretty good for me since getting into this room. The dreams that I had last night, I guess, were... It was one of those situations where every dream I had was a struggle. I ain't gonna say it's a nightmare, because nightmare usually has to do with you running from something or being afraid of something or having some type of terrifying moment. That's what I'd like in nightmares too, chased by demons, stuff like that. It wasn't that type of bad dream, but every dream was a struggle. And I kept waking up out of each dream, say a little prayer, go back to sleep, and have another dream. It's just like it. I think I probably had about 5 different dreams, and all of them sucked. But one of the ones that was really poignant, and it seems like with me, I'm always arguing with somebody. And some of my friends or family or mom or something, always arguing with somebody in a dream these days. But in this situation, I was in the car with my homeboy T, that you often hear me talk about. And we were riding around. I don't remember exactly the context of riding around. But whatever the situation was, I was irritated. It was one of those things where it didn't really make any sense at all. I guess in the dream, my friend T had found out some information about me as it pertains to my father, that my dad wasn't actually my dad, and I was really related to the Curry family, shooting guard, Steph Curry, Del Curry. They was, in the dream, I'm related to this dude or something, and I guess Del Curry was my dad or some weird nonsense that didn't make any damn sense. But the point is Tendai had this information but wasn't allowing me to follow up with it in whatever way. I don't know why he would have the ability to keep me from furthering my understanding of what it is that he found. It felt as if it was a Google away, but yet in my mind, I just felt like the only way I was going to get that information is if he gave it to me and he didn't want to say anything else or something. It's absolutely nonsensical, nothing to do with anything real at all. But nevertheless, this is the context from which I'm in the car arguing with T, like, yo man, you need to let me know what you know, like that kind of thing. And to make a long story short, I'm already peeved, but the energy is that as I'm behaving this way, just like in a lot of my dreams, I feel like I'm being unreasonable as I'm assessing myself. It's one of them situations where it's like, first of all, you think about only yourself, you think about only what you're considering. You don't care about nobody's perspective but your own, and you're feeling deeply emotionally imbalanced about what it is that ultimately is not going your way. Like a petulant child. That's how I felt like I was acting. Like I used to act when I was a little kid, spoiled, and my mother didn't give me what I wanted or something. Just completely and utterly entitled, right? Totally not energy I respect. Totally not energy I want to continue engaging in any way at this stage of my life. So that was the vibe that I was tripping, but I couldn't control it, no different than I was when I was a small child without any real understanding or discipline. So he was getting irritated with me naturally, and I was irritated with him. And it was one of the situations where I don't know how he managed to do it, but we were at like an intersection where there was maybe a filling station to the left of me, and then if you go straight for like a couple of feet to the right of me was the entrance to a freeway. And we're stopping, I guess, at a light. And as we stop at this light, he gets out of the car as he's driving. He puts the car, what you would think he would stop the car, right? But it was one of those situations where he had stopped it, but it kept rolling as he was getting out the car to go into to wherever he was going. I don't know why, but it didn't seem like it was abnormal that he was doing that. But he left me in the car in the passenger seat, and the car kept rolling. So at that point, it was incumbent upon me to control the vehicle. And the car was now at this point out of control, but moving extremely slowly. So naturally, what you want to do is hop over in the seat and get control of the car. But for whatever reason, the way that it was set up was that I couldn't switch over to his seat. So what I ended up doing was with my right hand leaning over, grabbing the wheel, and with my left hand trying to control the brake. But as I'm reaching down, now you gotta mind you, I'm leaning over. For whatever reason, I can't get out the seat, and I didn't take my seatbelt off because it didn't feel like I had time to. What the car was doing was moving forward, and the problem with it moving forward was it was a roundabout that led into the freeway. So the only thing I had time to do was steer the car in one direction or another, go into the filling station, or continue straight heading on the freeway with this thing out of control. And so I was thinking, okay, well, all I got to do is really put my hand on the brake and stop the car, literally. But the way it was going, I missed the brake as I was leaning my left hand down to find the brake. I accidentally hit the accelerator, but not too fast, just enough to push the car forward a little bit so that it was going a little faster. So now I had to steer the car into the filling station. The filling station was more or less very, I'll go this way, bro. The filling station was more or less very, very crowded. And so as it was crowded, I had to steer around vehicles, and I had cars behind me. And so it was one of them situations where now I'm leaning over, barely seeing over the steering wheel because I'm leaned over trying to control the brake. As I'm trying to hit the brake, I realized it was a lot of stuff in front of me that needed to be maneuvered around. And stopping the car, there was a car behind me who was going to run into my back, I guess, since he is out of the car, if I hit the brake. So the best thing for me to try to do was steer around everything that was in front of me as to not hit anything, so that I could regain control of the car. And what ended up happening was the filling station, the way it was set up, it had a bunch of naturally gas pumps and stuff like that. You got people parked in front of the gas pump. You got people, going into the place. And what you also saw, believe it or not, which is perfect from where I'm at, is this little area that had a bunch of rocks that look exactly like this, which is probably where I actually got the idea from. That setup wasn't a dream. And I ended up veering my car into a space that had nothing but rocks in it, and ultimately was able to hit the brake once I got in there with the rocks, and then ended up waking up out of the dream. But that was extremely stressful for obvious reasons. So that was one dream. Woke up out of that stressed as hell with a headache. And that's what ended up happening. I ended up going to sleep after waking up out of that dream not long after that. And I don't remember the other dreams I had, but I know they were definitely nightmarish type dreams that were similar to that, to where things were very frustrating. And I'm just looking around and I'm like, why is my brain doing this tonight? Why am I having so many dreams that are so, I guess the word would be contentious or strenuous? It was another dream that I had where I was hanging out with, it seemed like I was at where they filmed the Joe Budden podcast. I guess I was hanging out with the cast or something. I don't know why I was there. But the way it was set up, it was like Joe had created this deep hole in the middle of a random part of their house where they were at. And when I say deep, this thing went down at least 70 feet. Like, it was a ridiculously deep hole. And it was just enough there for like a person to go down in it. No ladder, but what it had around the lining of the hole all the way down was cushion. So if you happen to fall in this hole, you're bumping up against real soft stuff all the way down. But it didn't seem like there was no way up and no other way down than to fall into it. And you look down this thing, and it was one of those situations where it's like, all right, what is this? Like, this seems like the type of thing where if you're walking around in the dark, you fall into this thing, you can't get out. You may be able to pull your way out based on the cushions themselves. You might be able to pull your way out, but that's a long way down. And it's very little tight space from which to maneuver. So it was weird because Joe was acting very strange about just whatever the heck was going on in the room. People were arguing a little bit, but not like overly. And he pulls out this fake gun and he puts it in his mouth. He pulls the trigger, it doesn't fire. But it was a second where you were wondering if the dude was going to try to unalive himself in front of all of us. But at the same time, we knew we were on camera and we knew he was playing, but like, who plays like that? And at first, you don't know if the gun is fake, but then as you look at it, you can see that it's fake. But it's like, it was just a very uncomfortably weird dream. No one ended up actually falling in the hole either, but I found myself like having a certain anxiety about being around that hole, because I'm like, if I fall in that, there's no guarantee I'm getting out of that. In fact, it's a better guarantee that you likely find yourself stuck down there and need to be rescued. And so that was just a very weird dream that also had a lot of stress attached to it for myself. So I don't know, man. I just kept having strange dreams last night. I do have dreams like this often, it seems. And I tell you about it each and every time, or I'm in the car with somebody, usually somebody I know, and I'm arguing. This was just another one of those nights where I had dreams like that. And I woke up out of that dream just saying, I felt like I was fighting with an old spirit of my own. It wasn't that I was angry at anybody. I didn't think within what it is I was paying attention to, I had any right to be angry at anybody. But that old childish, spoiled version of myself that I used to be when I was living with my mother as a child, I used to feel like entitled to certain things. I felt like I should be given certain respect that maybe I didn't earn, or like I was supposed to get my way. And I was not an unselfish person at all as a child. I tell you the truth. And part of it was being an only child and mom having the idea that she wanted to, just make my life better than hers was as a child. She went through a lot, so tried to maybe compensate a bit for her son. No father in the house to punch me in the chest when I needed it. So I kind of grew up spoiled, kind of grew up, petulant in a way, not rude, but with my mother, I tend to act like she's supposed to be doing more than she was, even though she was doing a lot. So I felt like I was that person again. I felt like how that kid used to feel and stuff like that. It was irritating. And I woke up out of that dream saying, Lord, if I'm going to be a man who ends up with a family or a wife, I want to make sure that energy right there doesn't rear its head in any way anymore. I've been through a lot. Obviously, growing up has changed me with certain things that I've been through. It makes me feel like I'm not entitled. I think I'm far away from that human being, but just the same, when you have dreams like that and you're watching yourself behave ways that you don't respect, you just have to wonder if you're still fighting with, if that's still in you, if there's something in that ultimately your wife would have to deal with. You know what I mean? That's what came to mind, because I remember there were many times when my mother used to tell me, like, you like to argue. Ain't no woman gonna want to deal with you. You argue like that. You be acting, as if not like a man. My mother used to say, you ain't acting like a boy. You acting like a little girl. You arguing with me and, fussing and all of that. Ain't nobody want to hear all that complaining. And I grown to understand that I don't respect that no different in others as others would not respect it within me. So that's just not energy I want to bring to the table. I want to be a lot more balanced as it pertains to how much complaining I'm willing to do and how much fussing I'm trying to do, how much arguing I'm willing to do. All of that stuff is just a bad look for a grown man. While in this era of my life, I don't think I engage in too much of that at all. If any, there's no environment for which any of that would be tested in my life either. I'm not around a lot of people. I don't find myself living with anybody that I would be acting that way toward. But just the same, I remember my mother's complaints. I remember those statements she used to make. I remember how she felt when dealing with me at times. And I felt in that dream that I had a taste of what that used to look like toward her, how she probably took on that energy and was irritated by that. So yeah, man, it was a lot in that dream that made me wake up and say, man, I don't want to be who I used to be. If there's any indication that this is still in me, I still got a lot of growing to do before I get to a point where I'm ready to share my life with somebody else. So that's what that dream did. It made me take a look at myself and be irritated at old energy that I'd like to think ain't there right now. So yeah, man, that's how I feel about that. I woke up praying, and the thing was, I went to sleep praying. I went to sleep in my meditative space, and I guess that's what the Lord wanted to reveal to me, that we still got a lot of growing to do. And even though I'm not in a space where any of that would be in place to see, if I get thrown back in an environment where that might be possible, maybe I find that a lot of them old ways still in me. So that's a lot of irritation about that, and just understanding that, like, that's not how I want to be toward people. That's not how I want to be in representing myself. So yeah, that was how my night went. Very irritating dreams, very stressful dreams. But nobody got unalived in the dreams. It didn't end horribly. All of the dreams ended well. It just, to go through them, felt very uncomfortable. I guess that's the word. Very stressful. So that's really what it is, man. I was actually thinking about something last night as I was going to sleep. I was asking the Lord to help me pray for people that may need my prayer last night. It could be big things, it could be just small things or whatever. And the thing that came to mind was my buddy here at the studio lodge, the one I always tell you about, that I pray about. Essentially what he was saying is that progression was something that she's struggling with. It's not that the progress isn't coming, it's that she wants it to come sooner, or that she's worried about falling off the wagon, or whatever it is that she's trying to accomplish in her practices of taking care of herself and doing all the different things that have to do with her life. She's not seeing the progress she's looking to see. And I think what God was trying to say was, that's where she's going to need a little prayer, is to say, just be at peace with the progress you're making, and understand that, this is a marathon, not a sprint. Progress doesn't come overnight. Sometimes you may not stay as consistent as you want to be, but you've already poured in so much work in whatever you're doing. So to keep at it, understand that you owe it to yourself to keep going because of all the work that you've already put in. Just as you would tell anybody who's having a hard time with keeping something going, or maintaining their consistency, or maintaining their sobriety, if that's what it takes, if that's what it is, or whatever the case may be. And so that's kind of what I went to sleep thinking about before I started having all them weird, wacky dreams, is a struggle of just not seeing progress in her life that maybe she's looking to see from the things that she's doing. And so that, I don't know if I was picking up on something that she was dealing with. I don't know, but that's what I was thinking about right before them dreams happened. And I told her that today as I was going out the door. I was just telling her, keep at what you're doing. You're progressing in a way that is certain. You may not be able to see the gains that you're looking for overnight, and it may seem like you're on a long track that's not manifesting into what it is you're hoping to see, but you are going to get where you want to go, and everything you're looking to get it's already written. It's already going to happen. You just got to stay on the path you're on and don't give up. So I felt good being able to share that bit of meditative energy with her, and she thanked me for it, and had a good conversation right before I left out the door. So that was really cool. But at the end of the day, I don't know her that well to say that anything I'm thinking makes any sense. But when I follow my heart, I always find that the Lord gives me something relevant. So I find myself with confidence that sharing after praying about that idea would be something that could be fruitful. So that's what I did, man. I felt like it went the right way, and she was really thankful. She thanked me many times for that energy. So I guess I was positive. But yeah, man, I just wanted to share with you guys the kind of night I've had. And I woke up this morning feeling pretty motivated. And after waking up out of them bad dreams, I got up and did all my normal things. I felt excited about the draft that's coming up. And my intention, of course, to get out and build strength, man. I'm seeing the progress I'm looking for. You know, I didn't feel like that myself as it pertains to progressions and different things that I'm working on today. I don't feel that way. I feel like it's going exactly the way I wanted to. I understand I'm in a long grind as it pertains to the things that I'm working on. And I think I'm seeing the progress at this point that I was hoping to see when I started this process, climbing up hills and stuff like that with a heavy backpack. I've been doing this now for consistently for a good 4 months, I think, 3 months, where I've been climbing this thing, and you know, I'm seeing it. I know that I got to temper my expectations for definition and stuff like that off the strength of my age. You know, you just at some point in time you got to say you're not going to get the same results doing certain strenuous activities that you would have gotten at 25. It's just not happening at 41. But you know, I with my lowered expectations for my look, I'm still seeing progress in the areas that I'm hoping to see. So that applies to all of us as it pertains to we can continue on the path that we need to be on. Don't worry about instant gratification results or instant progression, or expecting that you will be having an easier time doing things that you're trying to continue to work into your equation. You know, for me, lately it's been the push-ups. With me taking that little month or so off from my push-up routine, getting back to where I was before I did that, I feel like I'm doing push-ups very well, but I'm not seeing the definition that I saw before I stopped that process last. But it's just like anything else. If the performance is there, the body changes. So you may be doing more push-ups now, but you're not as heavy, so it's not going to be as much definition. You know, there's just that kind of thing going on. So I'm just continuing on my grind. I understand that, you know, I've been having some sore nights with my chest, which means that the definition is coming. So just got to keep at it. And knowing that quitting is not the solution to, you know, unhappiness in regards to your progression. Quitting is going to reinforce the results that you see, not give you the results that you're unhappy for not seeing. You got to keep going in order to do that. So that's what I share with you guys. I understand that my push-ups have worked, and if I continue on this path, they will work. And I'm a long way away from where I want to be, but I'm a long away from where I was when I started. And that, as I said to her, you owe it to yourself, based on the work you've already put in, to continue on that journey and continue to see it through. See your mission complete, rather than to put in a lot of work, be frustrated because you don't see what you want to see, and then furthermore you won't see what you want to see. So that's what I have to say, man. I'm putting in more work because I want to see the work that I've already put in be honored with the effort that I'm willing to put in. So that's my thought, man. That's what I want to give you guys. My excitement about getting back here on time knows no end. I told her I wanted to be back here before 4 o'clock. I don't know if I'm going to get it before 4 o'clock, but I definitely want to be back before 4:30. That's the main thing. Get back here before 4:30. That way I have enough time to shower, and then I can watch all the picks in the first round today, which is one of my favorite things to do, watching NBA players get drafted. It's been something I've enjoyed since I was a small child, since I was like 11, 12 years old. I haven't really missed a draft, and I just like seeing guys not knowing where they're going, get their dreams come true, or however you word that, and you know, just the transactions that come from that, different things that I focus on with my channel here, just kind of come to fruition. When you do a mock draft, you get to see how much of that stuff is actually what the teams were thinking versus just stuff you came up with on your own. a lot of times you see teams do stuff they have no business doing, etc. And so you expect some of that too. But yeah, man, that's pretty much what I gotta say. I think I'll talk a little basketball in my next video, but I wanted to give you guys a therapy session, just reiterating the type of night I had in hopes of continuing to work on myself and encourage others to work on themselves, and just following the Spirit of God as He continues to lead me toward whatever truths that are there for me. So that's what it is, man. I hope everybody's having a fantastic week. Enjoy the summer. Drink lots of water. Bdf 44. I thank you all for watching.